This is Lucy. Lucy was found here at Hadar by Johansen. You've heard of Lucy, right? She's probably the most famous of all missing links. I think they call her Lucy because Johansen was listening to Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Is that the Beatles? I think Elton John had a version too, but the Beatles song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And so that was his favorite song, and so they named her Lucy. What's significant about Lucy as a paleo man find, or paleo woman find in this case? The percentage of her skeleton. Most of the time when they find these fossils, it's just a tiny fragment of the skeleton. Here they found, maybe 20 or 30%, 40% of the skeleton intact. And you can extrapolate what the rest of the skeleton looked like because you assume bilateral symmetry. So you find bone on one side, you assume it's the same on the other side. So this is almost a complete skeleton can be reconstructed from Lucy. The second thing, and probably the most important thing overall about the Lucy find, is her femur and the attachment to the pelvis right here. You'll notice that the leg bone is at an angle. And what that means is that Lucy very likely had a very smooth gait. She walked upright. Primates, when you look at early primates, the bone actually comes out and goes straight down. It doesn't angle in. And so that would allow Lucy to put one foot in front of the other. And that shows that upright walking, according to paleoanthropologists, is something that developed extremely early in the evolution of man. I don't believe in evolution. I think I told you that before, but evolutionists believe that. And it's really uncanny. We talked about artifacts, right? How the artifacts that they find very early are usually what? Very primitive? The most early artifacts, are they primitive? No, oftentimes they're quite complex. We're seeing a similar thing here, that these characteristics that distinguish certain things are not occurring gradually. They're just, bam, they're there very quickly. So upright walking, that's an important point, because if you believe in gradualistic evolution, you should see these things coming on gradually with different intermediate stages and all of that, but you're not. You're just seeing it, bam, it's there, upright walking. And it's really bizarre because the rest of Lucy's skeleton's pretty primitive. I mean, she has like big fangs. So you imagine this monkey with big fangs and just looks like a supermodel or something walking. Well, actually, let me talk to you about the evolution of the walk. All right, first of all, I want to show you two things. You may have seen when you were in public school, they had a biology textbook or something that shows that image of like an ape. It's almost iconic now where there's like an ape on all fours like this, and then it shows him like this, and then like this, and then like this, like this. You seen that image? That's total fabrication. No anthropologist believes that ever happened. Because if you think about it for a second, if you think about that diagram and what it implies that there were a group of organisms on planet Earth that for thousands, maybe even millions of years walked around like this. Right? Isn't that right? Because they showed this guy. And that's the one that's most convincing because he's somewhere in between. But that means this is how they would walk all the time. Let's try it. You want some extra credit? Do this for like a day. Walk around like this. Your back is going to kill you. This is not a functional way to walk. You'd have to have another type of skeleton that like had bones coming down to your toes or something like this to make this functional. It's just not functional. This is functional, right? Because the weight of your body is on your pelvic basin and your femurs, okay? So this is a functional lifestyle. This is a functional lifestyle because then your weight's on your front paw, see? So this is functional. This is functional, but this is not functional. And nobody ever believes there were creatures that walked around like that. So whenever you see that image, just erase the middle part out. But when you do that, if you erase the middle part, then it looks like somebody made this type of creature and somebody made this type of creature, right? So the other thing is, I want to talk to you about upright, how apes walk. Apes walk sort of like cowboys. Cowboys ride horses when they're really young. And so since their legs are around the horse, as their legs are developing, they develop straight down. And so when cowboys walk, they're bow-legged, right? So when they walk, they have to walk like this. Well, that's why apes walk, because their femurs are pointed straight down. And so to get one foot in front of the other, they have to sort of swing their hips like this, right? So this is an ape walk. best I can do it. That's why apes walk. Like we all know, Steve planted the apes. That's how they tell them to walk, so they look like apes. And so the thing is, if you think about the way an ape walks and the way the femur develops, you can actually visualize the evolution of the walk. And I can show it to you if I can make room here. And it's sort of like neoteny in that we can extend it too into the future. So that means I can show you the evolution of the walk not only from primates to man, but I can show you what we will walk like in the future, because you just extrapolate that change. Just like with neoteny. Remember neoteny? You arrest development at a younger and younger stage, so we can predict what we look like in the future. Fetuses. Okay. So here's the evolution of the walk. See if I can do it. Makes sense, doesn't it? So that means in the future we'll all walk like supermodels. Yeah, hopefully. Well, I think with the metrosexual movement and who knows. All right, so this is very important, isn't it? That bend there in the femur suggests that Lucy, even though she looks very much like a primate, she probably had a very smooth gait. This is Lucy's skull. It's called AustralopithecusAfarensis is Lucy. Anyway, you can see the teeth are quite primate looking, and the shape of the jaw too. This is a chimp. This is Lucy. And this is us. See the teeth? Very large teeth. Much like, I mean, this Lucy looks much more like a chimp, even though you can see a little bit of sort of the arch shape of the jaw. This is our jaw, upper jaw.